Welcome back. I've decided to do a DaVinci Resolve for the iPad review. Well, not really a review. I'm going to look at it from the eyes of a Final Cut Pro editor. Now, I've had it for about a week and I've been playing around with it and I like it. I was hoping that one day Apple would produce Final Cut Pro for the iPad, but that hasn't happened. I mean, it may still happen, but I've been waiting for the day when we had a professional editor on the iPad. And I'm not going to get into the debates about why should we have it on an iPad when you can use a MacBook Pro or even a MacBook Air or whatever. That doesn't matter. The point is, someone has made something for the iPad which gives, it's just another tool which can be used on various number of applications. I mean, in this case, DaVinci Resolve now covers PCs, Macs, and now iPads. I mean, that's pretty damn good. So, leaving that all aside, I'm now going to go through it and show you that I find it fairly intuitive for someone who has been cutting Final Cut Pro projects for many, many years. So here we go. I'll open it up. And I'm just going to brighten the screen a little bit. Now, I've already set up some files for this to speed the process up. So I've put them all into it. So I'll go into, where's my pencil? Ah, what's happened to my pencil? Sorry about that, people. I put the pencil in, it rolled in underneath. Okay. So we'll click this little button here. Instead of using the import media button, we'll import a folder. And I will go to, on my iPad, scroll down to video projects, go in there, and we'll go to multi, and we'll actually bring that in. So all the files are in that particular folder, and they've come in that folder. If you go back to the master, you can see there's your multi-bin, and if you go back in there, there you go. Now, before we get into, I mean, what I would not, well, actually, I'll go back. Actually, what we will do, go back to the master, and I'll create a new timeline, and I'll call it test. Oops, what have I done? Stuffed up. Test-01, just for the hell of it. Okay, created. Now that's done. So we've got a timeline. We'll go into the files here. Now, there's three cameras. One is the EOSR, the other one's a C100, and the other one was a GoPro 10. Now, the problem with GoPro footage is that they split up the files. Okay, in this case, there are two files. So, I don't know if you've encountered this, but when you try to do a multi-camera edit with GoPro files, it is a nightmare unless you do something like what I'm going to do now. And this is important. And I'm rapt about the fact that DaVinci Resolve had this built in. Final Cut Pro have it built in, and this is what I call metadata. So, I'll show you. So, GoPro camera footage have sequential numbering systems. So you go to the one that has the number 1, and we'll open that up. We'll go to the inspector, and over on the top you have different tabs. I'm going to the camera tab, and sure enough, there is a panel where I can insert information about those files. Now in this case, I'm going to go to camera, I'm going to call it GoPro-10, real number 01, and that does that one. Go back to media, we'll go to the other file, go to the inspector, camera name, GoPro-10, and in this case it'll be real number 02. Now why this is important is that when you do the multi-sync, you want to line all of the camera feeds up as separate lines across the screen. And if you don't do this, the GoPro footage will end up all over the place. Okay, so that's all done. So now we will select don't know what I'm doing wrong here. This is the one thing that I have picked up on with the DaVinci. It's, yeah. Okay, there we go. I select all files. I think there needs to be improvement in respect to the touch interface. First generation, that's what happens. Okay, so we now push this little, looks like a sort of a arrows chasing themselves. So we click that, and then across here, we choose either sync by different options. I'm going to choose audio, and now we choose sync. We wait, and there you go. Look at that. All 3 tracks nicely neat, and as you see, the 2 GoPro, they're bunched up against each other, perfectly situated, in sync, audio-wise, with the other 2. Beautiful. So now you save sync. Now you've got it. So you always have a camera A. When you do multi-cam syncs, you have what, this is a decision you make as a camera operator or editor. In my case, it's going to be the EOS R, which will be this one, and we'll drop that onto the timeline. Now, so this is where, okay. Before we start cutting, I just want to make a comment about this, and this is one of the reasons why I believe this is very accommodating to Final Cut Pro editors. And I know there's some discussion about this, the fact that there's only 2 pages within the DaVinci Resolve for iPad. I am aware of the fact that they have a separate page for editing, as well as color and other aspects. But as a Final Cut Pro editor, if they maintain this, but added the ability to zoom in and out with your fingers, added the ability to, when you put audio files on the timeline, to put fades, just you can actually like go in and use the pen to literally grab the end of the audio file and just fade in and fade out. Those 2 things alone would turn this into a Final Cut Pro project timeline. And as such, someone like me would go to town. So okay, we go along. Oh, whoops. You know what, I just realised I've made a mistake. I put the wrong damn track down. I don't know how that happened. Okay, we'll start again. So in this instance, we will grab the EOS Shogun footage, and we will go across, and let's find the point where I sit down and say, welcome back. Hello and welcome back. Okay, we'll push the little scissors, highlight that, delete, done. Just like in Final Cut Pro, love it. And now we will go along, scroll along until I reach a point where I'm actually going to point. There we go. So I'm just about to point at that chain. Now this is where I want to cut to the other camera. And this is where it's a little bit different than Final Cut Pro. It's not bad. Actually, it's pretty damn good for the iPad. So we hit the sync button up here, and this brings up our multicam view. And at first I was excited because when I saw the windows, I thought, this is just like Final Cut Pro. I can just go click, click. But no, what you actually have to do, so you at that point where I want it to come, you choose the file, the actual camera over here that you want, and then you push this little square here, and I just forgot something. I'm going to go back. If you only want, I don't want audio from that when we drop that in, so we select that there. Okay, we've selected that, and now we select that, and there we go. What that has done, and we'll go back to media. Oh, I see what's happened. I'm not on the timeline. Okay, so there we go, and then it cuts to the second camera. Now, it appears to give you about a 5-second cut. That's fine. You can actually go in if you want to reduce it. You just go that way, or you can extend it. Look, this is very manageable. It's quite good. Not as good as Final Cut Pro. I will show you this. I'll show you Final Cut Pro, how you do multi-camera edits in another video. But the point I'm trying to get at is that this is still bloody good. So let's just say we're going along and okay, I'm not happy with this part of from here. I think actually at one point I did decide to start again. So for the sake of making this quick, cut this and then we'll skip down to here. That'll do. And we'll cut that bit. And this is just like Final Cut Pro. I highlight that clip that's in between. And you watch this. Delete. And hey presto. The files come together. Now if I want to, I can then put a transition there. Blur dissolve. Cross dissolve. There we go. Bingo. Oops. I think I just stuffed that up. Oops, there we go. Okay. And so, yeah. I'm not going to complete this project. I just wanted to touch base with you about how this functions. So, we'll go back to media and we'll go back to the master. Now, I'm going to bring in another folder. I might call it graphics. Well, actually it is graphics, that's what I want. Video files, graphics, there we go. Open. Right. So the reason I did this, I just wanted to, so there's the multicam editing. And now this is, again, much like any program now, we're getting away from the Final Cut Pro side of it, but I wanted to show the power of this particular application. So I've got a PNG file there, I'll whack it on there. Hey presto, there you go. Now one thing I did notice, I went into the inspector expecting to see the scale. There is none. Oh, zoom, I wonder if that's, oh, there we go, I stand corrected. Okay, I just discovered something. They call it zoom. I was looking for scale. Now, so how it works, as you just noticed, so they're linked, the Y and the X, and if you just move your pen across there, it reduces it. Now, if I want to position it, I can move it across that way. It's not quite as intuitive, but it still works. Okay, it's very much Final Cut Pro, Pro-ish. We'll go back to the media. One thing I did want to show you, if you go on the timeline here and connect that, you also come up with a whole series of different functions across here. So in this case, you can also manually operate it, move it around. You can do a crop. We can do a Ken Burns effect. What else? Speed control. Stabilize. If it was another video, you could stabilize it. There's a lot of functions here. This is quite impressive. We'll leave it at that. So we'll turn that off. Yeah, so far I'm really impressed. So we'll do another. This is what I was getting at about the. I'll just grab with my finger. Why won't that come onto the? What's going on here? Oh, there we go. That is a bit of a pain. I think that's something they're going to have to fix. Again, we go to the inspector. We can make it smaller. We can rotate it around. Beautiful. And just like with Final Cut Pro, you want to drop shadow, go into effects, go to the magnifying glass to do a search and do drop shadow. Whoops, not droop. Drop shadow, there it is. We can grab that, drop it on there, and we now have a drop shadow. Just like, this is so much like Final Cut Pro, it's not funny. So we'll put a trim there. That's something else I've noticed. Depending on what you're choosing, the screen will change and give you relevant settings to that particular change. So, okay, let's watch this. So if I wanted to, okay, we'll go there. Oh, here it is. This is it. I love this. So this is a 4K footage. So if you look over here, at this point, I can go click and see what it's done. You watch. It's put a zoom. It's literally zoomed in, right? And how it works, and it just seems to be the way all of the code works in the background. To do it, it's zoomed in and applied the zoom above the main line. Bingo. And then again 5 seconds and it goes back. And again you can grab that and make it longer if you want, and so forth. I mean, I like that. That is good. Then we come to the color page, and I do like the way this works. You can see all the clips that are on the timeline, even graphics. You can make a change to that. Look at this. If I wanted to look, I can actually change the the color of the. Click that to read again. This is so reminiscent of Final Cut Pro. There's more, but the functionality is so similar. We have wheels, and look, you've even got sliders. We've even got, look at that. Oh, yeah, look, everything about this nodes. Now, this, as a Final Cut Pro editor, that at first was a bit of a, head scratcher. But I very quickly worked out it's like layers. I'll give you an example. So at the moment, let's go to that there, and I want to, let's say lift it. Okay, yeah, and that's looking better. Okay, but let's say, for instance, I just wanted to play around with that section. If I were to create a new node, right, and that, and then if I go over here and choose, say, the circle, and let's say we bring that down, center it there. Look, I'm going to be, yeah, that'll do for the sake of what I'm trying to achieve here. Okay, now, see what I've done? And I'm changing the color there. So you see what's happened? Because you've used a separate node, okay, that separate node is only coloring that section that you've highlighted. Again, like layers. Let's go back to the cut page, and we'll go back into the media, the multi. All of these, with the exception of the GoPro footage, the USR is ProRes 422 HQ, and the what do you call it? C100 is I'm recording on a Ninja, and it's ProRes 422, and this handles both of those files without any issues whatsoever. I mean, look at this. I've done the test. I've had layers and layers of 4K footage. This is an M1 iPad with the 1 terabyte storage, which gives me 16 gig of storage for memory in respect to handling all this. Okay, as I said, I don't want to keep going on forever. This is a game changer. This is what I've been waiting for a long time. I'm going to spend some time to learn how to do this. It means that I can be out and about, and I'll be shooting videos, and I can stop and edit them on the fly and upload them straight to YouTube without a problem. Doesn't matter whether I'm using GoPro footage, H.264 or 6.5, or huge ProRes files, 4K, not an issue. Yeah, I'm going to finish it there. I hope this has been of some help, and thank you for watching.